Hey family, welcome back to my desk. Dr. Dandridge here. This news story just came across my desk, and I think that is something worth having the conversation about. So let's watch a little bit of it together, and then we're going to come back and talk. All right, let's go.
NASA's Hubble telescope just took a closer look at the Three-Eye Atlas, the interstellar object who everyone thinks is an alien mothership that's headed towards Earth. And they have confirmed that it's glowing, like a comet but with no tail. Usually when comets glow, it's because sunlight vaporizes icy material, leaving behind a bright tail of dust. But this one, the light is concentrated at the front, like a flashlight moving through space. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, the guy who started all of this doomsday theories, and the same guy who said Oumuamua might be alien tech, he's saying the glow is self-generated, as in not light bouncing off of dust, but light coming from the object itself. He even suspects the glow could be the result of radioactive power, and he boldly said it could be an ancient nuclear-powered alien spacecraft that is drifting and decaying after eons in deep space. Now, Loeb's a serious Harvard scientist, but he's also a vocal UFO enthusiast. And he's not saying this is a confirmed alien craft. He's saying, quote, this is one possible scenario. We're going to know more once it gets closer to the sun and when NASA turns the orbiter's cameras on it this fall when it passes by Mars. Till then, do you think this is a mostly true alien story or not?
We need to save our
Welcome back to my desk, family. Today we're stepping into a conversation that is both ancient and surprisingly modern. What does the Bible say about aliens and extraterrestrial life? Now, let's be clear. When I say aliens, I'm not talking about your in-laws at Thanksgiving or the new neighbors who don't cut their grass. I'm talking about extraterrestrial beings, life beyond Earth. And with all the recent news of UFO sightings, strange lights in the sky, and even whispers from government whistleblowers, it's a question more and more people are asking. What if we are not alone? And does the Bible have anything to say about that? First, let's define what we mean. The word alien simply means stranger or foreigner. In fact, the Bible uses the term often, not for little green men, but for people who are outsiders. For example, in Leviticus 19:34, God commands Israel, the alien who resides with you shall be to you as the citizen among you. You shall love the alien as yourself. But the question we're really chasing today isn't about social aliens. It's about cosmic aliens, beings not from Earth. Does Scripture give us any reason to believe in them? Or does the Bible suggest humanity is alone in the universe? Let's start here. Psalm 19:1 tells us the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the works of his hands. Now think about this. Our universe is massive. Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, uncountable planets. If God is the center of all things, then doesn't it at least leave the door open for the possibility of other life? Here's something I want you to think about. If God is infinite as well, I've said this for years, why would God's creativity be limited to Earth? Why would God only create only one planet with life when God could create countless expressions of life across the cosmos? Now let's get interesting, because throughout Scripture there are strange events that some modern readers have even interpreted as alien encounters. Ezekiel 1, the prophet describes a vision of wheels within wheels, flashing lights, and strange living creatures with multiple faces. Now, Ezekiel calls this a vision of God's glory, but if you read it with modern eyes, it sounds like something out of a UFO sighting report. Then we have Exodus 13:21. God leads Israel through the wilderness with a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. Was it divine presence? Of course. But again, modern UFO enthusiasts sometimes point to these descriptions as evidence of unexplained phenomena. Then we also have Acts 1:9-11. Some of y'all are not going to like this, but the story where Jesus ascends into the heavens and the disciples are left staring upward. To them, this was the glory of God. To a modern UFO believer, that could look like an abduction story. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Jesus was beamed up by aliens. What I am saying is that the language of Scripture often describes supernatural encounters in ways that overlap how people today describe UFOs and extraterrestrial sightings. So here's something else I want you to think about. Are people seeing aliens, or are they seeing glimpses of the spiritual realm? Could what we call UFOs be spiritual realities breaking into human perception? This brings me to angels, because a lot of people ask me this. The Bible is filled with references to spiritual beings that are not human, yet very real. Hebrews 13:2 even says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that some have entertained angels without knowing it." Think about that. Angels walk among us undetected. They don't always come with wings and halos. Sometimes they look like regular people. So here's a question. If God already created spiritual beings outside of humanity, I'm talking about angels, demons, cherubim, seraphim, why couldn't he also have created beings on other planets? But here's where we must ground the conversation today. Whether they are aliens or not, the Bible tells us something central. Jesus Christ is Lord of all creation. Colossians 1:16-17 declares, "For by him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. All things were created through him and for him." That means if extraterrestrial life exists, it is still under the lordship of Christ. The gospel is not just Earth's story, it's the universe's story. The death and resurrection of Jesus has cosmic implications. One more thing I want you to think about. If we did discover life on another planet tomorrow, would that life need redemption? Would Jesus' sacrifice apply to them too? Or would God have a separate plan of salvation for them? That's a question theologians have wrestled with for centuries. C.S. Lewis, for example, speculated that other worlds might not have fallen into sin at all. Maybe Earth is the prodigal planet while others still remain faithful to God. Now, before I go deeper, if you're enjoying this conversation, do me a favor, take a minute and just like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who has ever looked up to the stars and wondered if we're not alone. Your engagement helps keep conversations like this alive. So let's get back to the stars. And let's pull this together, because the Bible doesn't explicitly talk about aliens in the sense of green Martians or intergalactic civilizations. What it does do is paint a picture of a vast universe created by an infinite God filled with beings, both seen and unseen. When people report UFOs, could some of them be hoaxes or supernatural phenomena? Absolutely. But could some also be genuine encounters with spiritual realities like angels, demons, or even the glory of God breaking through? The Bible leaves room for that interpretation. And here's another thing I want you to think about. If God created the heavens and the earth, and if the universe is expanding, could it be that we are still discovering parts of creation that were never meant to make us fearful, but to remind us how small we are and how great God is? Now, I want to offer a little bit of biblical caution before I let you go. 2 Corinthians 11:14 warns us that even Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light. That means not every unexplained sighting is necessarily benevolent. Some things that look heavenly could actually be deceptive. So as believers, our call is not to chase after every light in the sky, but to ground ourselves in the truth of Christ. Whether we meet angels, aliens, or anything in between, our faith rests in the God who created it all. So I want to close with this. The Bible does not give us a clear yes or no on extraterrestrial life. What it does give us is assurance that whatever exists, angels, galaxies, spiritual beings, or yes, maybe even alien life, Jesus Christ is Lord over it all. And our job isn't to fear what we don't understand, but to remain faithful to the one who holds the universe together. And maybe the real takeaway is this: whether or not aliens exist, the wonder of the universe should push us closer to God, not further away. As Psalms 8, verse 3 and 4 says, "When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them?" That's the ultimate mystery. In a vast, possibly inhabited universe, God still knows your name. Thank you for joining me at my desk today. I'm Dr. Dandridge. If today's conversation stretched your thinking, go ahead and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know in the comments, do you believe and do you think that the Bible leaves room for aliens? And do you believe that these sightings are spiritual encounters? And point blank, do you believe in aliens? Put that inside the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, keep seeking truth, keep asking questions, and keep your eyes on the heavens.